Jimmy Butler, the guy who bullies defenders and shows up to media day looking like an anime villain. But what if I told you the real story makes all that look kinda normal? Because behind the playoff heroics and the chaos here is a man whose life sounds like a Hollywood script. One with no father, no home, and a conspiracy that he might actually be Michael Jordan's secret son. You might think you know him, but trust me, there's a whole lot to Jimmy Butler than just basketball. From couch surfing at 13 to cooking entire NBA teams in the finals, this is not your typical rags to riches tale. This is the legend of Jimmy Butler. And what better way to start than his life before fame when he was homeless?
You're obviously a product of hard work. How would you characterize your childhood from, let's say, around 12 or 13 on up?
I think it was hard. I had to grow up at a young age, and I had to be able to not really take care of myself. I had help, but I was on my own for the most part, and that's the way I felt.
Before Jimmy Butler became a 6-time All-Star, a defensive menace, and the unofficial CEO of $20 Bubble Coffee, he was literally homeless. I mean, this dude had one of the roughest upbringings you can imagine. Jimmy was born to a teenage mom, and his dad was gone before he could even say the first word. And for a while, life was just survival. But things really took a turn when Jimmy turned 13. One day, out of nowhere, his mom looked him dead in the eye and said, "I don't like the look of you, you gotta go," and kicked him out of the house. Just like that. So he became a teenager with no home, no parents, and no support. He was literally on his own. Imagine hearing that from your mother. Nothing could have consoled him at that point. So what did he do? Poor Butler bounced between friends' houses, sleeping in couches, unsure of the future. He had nothing, but what he did have was heart. And sometimes that wasn't enough to attract the right people. Just when it looked like Jimmy would be forgotten, someone finally noticed and welcomed him into his home.
He doesn't open up too much, but I mean, you kind of get the gist of it. And I mean, I was always like, man, you can stay tonight. My mom won't care. And then I'd just be like, just one more night. And it just kind of developed into a week and then a month.
For Jimmy, the transition was both cautious and quiet.
He hid from us. He stayed upstairs and wouldn't come downstairs and send Jordan down to get him food. So I guess he thought if he wasn't seen, no one would know he was there.
I felt like if nobody knew I was there, they couldn't get tired of me.
He never left. A house became a home. Friends became family. And with their love and support, Jimmy started to flourish on and off the court.
It is hard because, people say you just take a child you don't even know. And, and people think different things and say different things. And not to say that someone didn't come to me and say, oh, don't let him in. He's supposedly he's done this. You've got to go with your gut. He's brought more to us than ever we could bring to him.
There it goes.
By the summer before his senior year, Jamie was starting to get noticed, not by scouts or D1 coaches, it was by ninth grader. His name was Jordan Wesley, and he was younger, smaller, and bolder than Jimmy expected. One day after a summer league game, he walked straight up to Jimmy and challenged him to a three-point contest. This sounded crazy, considering he was a kid, but Jimmy went along with it, and thank goodness he did. And just like that, a friendship was born. Jordan started inviting Jimmy to hang out, play games, and chill. And slowly, Jimmy began spending more and more nights there, until it wasn't just a sleepover anymore. Now, this is where it gets real. Jordan's mom, Michelle Lambert, looked at Jimmy and said, "You can stay for good." She didn't stop there. She made him understand that her kids looked up to him. Now, it was up to Jimmy to set an example, and he sure did. And for the first time in his life, Jimmy Butler didn't just have a bed, he had a family. You'd think that Jimmy Butler would be drowning in scholarship offers after finally finding a home and some stability, right? Wrong. Nobody was calling, but somehow it happened when he enrolled into Marquette.
Butler steps out, wheels, fades, and hits.
Here Gus Johnson making those calls, a tremendous shot.
Especially with Mark Lyons on the bench. 3 fouls, Marquette numbers, they leave it. Oh, nicely done.
Just leave.
And a steal. Butler, Marquette. 5 seconds. Butler, elevated baseline, and hits. Under 4 minutes to go in the half. And Marquette's missed 14 straight, and finally.
Well, I'll tell you what, Carolina's defense has been really good, and Harrison Barnes has made it tough until then.
His speed on the court.
Without question, and it's a rim run. We call that a rim run in the business, and there's another finish, and right now, the Eagles getting what they want inside.
So Jimmy's reality was the D1 coaches were knocking. ESPN wasn't calling, and he didn't have mixtapes, rankings, or hype. All he had was a will to outwork everyone. So after high school, Jimmy went where most hoop dreams go to die, junior college. He enrolled at Tyler Junior College in Texas. Now, it wasn't some fancy college. It had no TV cameras, no scouts, just a dusty gym and a shot at something bigger. And Jimmy made it count. He averaged 18 points and 7 rebounds, and by the end of the season, he was the only JUCO player in the entire country to get an offer from a top-tier D1 school. That school was Marquette, and trust me, things didn't come easy for him. He still had to work his way up there. He was putting in the work guarding the toughest players. He was simply grinding every single possession, and that's what caught the NBA's attention. In 2011, Jimmy Butler was drafted 30th overall, and the very last pick of the first round. And now, as they say, is history.
Oh. 3.3 seconds. That's how long you push that. Let's do do this. No, for real. Like, that's impressive. For real. Get better!
Now, most NBA players spend the 2020 bubble trying to stay sane. Some were playing video games, fishing in man-made lakes, or binge-watching Netflix between games. But not Jimmy Butler. He saw a business opportunity and seized it. You see, the NBA bubble didn't exactly have Starbucks on every corner, and players were desperate for decent coffee. So, Jimmy did what only Jimmy would. He packed a French press and some beans and turned his hotel room into a full-blown pop-up cafe. He called it Big Face Coffee. I mean, Jimmy didn't need any fancy branding or a menu ball to go all out. He had his target audience, and he just went with it. This is where it gets interesting. It didn't matter what size you ordered. Small, medium, or large. Every cup cost $20 flat. For him, it was just premium coffee, serious branding, and a straight face. And the best part was that the players paid for it. Now, if there's one thing Jimmy Butler is known for besides overcharging for coffee, it's his work ethic. The guy trains by 3 a.m. How crazy can one get?